Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to build something cool, a tool that can automatically grab data from pretty much any website out there. And the best part, we're going to use something you likely already have right on your computer, PowerShell.
Well, the magic behind that is something called web scraping. It's exactly how those sites get their info. Now, I know it sounds super technical, but trust me, it's way more accessible than you'd think.
All right, let's get right into it. Here's what we're covering. First, what in the world is web scraping? Then, why on earth would we use PowerShell for it? After that, we'll do a hands-on guide, your very first scrape. We'll touch on some pro tips, and then it's your turn.
So, first up, let's talk about the world of web scraping and how we can turn websites into pure data.
Okay, to put it simply, web scraping is basically teaching a computer program how to read a website, just like a human would. But instead of you doing it, the program does it for you, pulling out the exact pieces of information you care about. Think of it like a super fast robot assistant that can copy and paste data, but like a million times faster. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. No two websites are the same. They all have their own unique structures, and to make things even more fun, they're constantly changing. That means a scraper you build today that works perfectly, well, it might just break tomorrow if the website's owner decides to change a tiny little thing.
And that challenge actually brings us right to our tool of choice for today. We're talking about PowerShell, the tool you've probably already owned.
You know, data scientist Federico Trotta really hits the nail on the head here. He points out that its integration with Windows makes it super accessible. And that's the key, right? Its biggest plus is that it's just there. For Windows users, there's nothing to install, no dependencies to worry about. You just open it and go.
So yeah, there are some trade-offs, and this lays them out pretty clearly. The big strength? It's pre-installed and it's really flexible. But, and this is a big but, it has its limits. PowerShell is fantastic for static HTML content. Think of a simple news article, where all the text loads at once. But for those fancy, dynamic sites where content appears as you scroll down, you know, the ones that use a lot of JavaScript, well, PowerShell can't really handle that. For those jobs, you might need to reach for something a bit more heavy-duty.
Okay, theory's over. Let's get our hands dirty. It's time for your first scrape, going from code to actual content. All right, everything we're about to do hinges on one single command, Invoke-WebRequest. Seriously, this is the heart of it all. The best way to think about it is like a digital librarian. You tell it which website you want, and it goes out, grabs the entire page, and brings it right back to you, ready for you to look through. And we're going to break this down into 4 super simple steps. First, we'll fetch a web page. Then, we'll isolate all the links on that page. After that, we'll find all the images on a different site. And finally, we'll actually download those image files right onto your machine. Step 1. Fetch the page. It's as easy as this. We use our star command, Invoke-WebRequest, and point it at google.com. We then take everything it brings back and store it in a variable, which we're just calling $Google. Boom. The entire Google homepage is now neatly tucked away in that one object, ready for us to play with. Okay, so now that we have the page captured in our $Google variable, here's where the magic happens. PowerShell has already done the heavy lifting and parsed all the messy HTML for us. So now, check this out. If we want to see every single link on that page, all we have to do is look at the .links property of our object. Just like that, you get a full list. It's honestly that easy.
All right, let's try something a little more complex, say CNN.com. We'll do the same thing, Invoke-WebRequest. You'll notice we've added use basic parsing here. That's just a helpful little switch to use if PowerShell has trouble with a site's structure. Now, once we have the CNN page loaded, we can find all the images. See, every image on a web page has a source, or SRC, which is just its URL. So we can ask PowerShell for a list of all those image sources.
And for the final step, downloading. We take that list of image URLs we just grabbed and we loop through it, one by one. For each URL, we use our hero command, Invoke-WebRequest again. But this time, we add a new parameter, outFile. This tells PowerShell, hey, instead of just showing me the content, save it to this file path. And just like that, you're downloading all the images from the page.
Awesome. So now you've got the basics down. Let's level up and talk about how to scrape like a pro and build tools that are actually reliable.
There are 3 things you absolutely need to keep in mind. First, get comfortable with HTML and CSS selectors. It's like learning to read a map before you go on a treasure hunt. You need to know the layout to find the gold. Second, be respectful. Don't just hammer a website server with requests. Use the start sleep command to add little pauses in your script. It's just good manners. And third, build your scripts to be resilient. Use something called try/catch blocks. This is basically error handling. It means if your script hits a problem, like a page that doesn't exist, it won't just crash and burn. It'll handle the error gracefully and keep going.
And again, great advice from Federico Trotta here. The best way to get good at this is to start small. Don't try to scrape Amazon on your first day. Seriously, pick a small, manageable project like grabbing the headlines from your favorite news site. Rack up some small wins, build your confidence, and then you can scale up to bigger things.
All right, we've gone from the big picture to the nuts and bolts. You've seen how you can get started with this skill. It really is powerful stuff. So now you've got the building blocks. You can take everything we just did and use it as a template. You can build your own custom tools, wrap it all up into your very own function, maybe even call it Invoke-WebScrape. The possibilities for what you can automate are pretty much endless.
So I guess there's only one question left to ask. What data are you going to unlock first?